Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Well guys, it looks like the death cross has been breached. The House of Crypto posting this. Every death cross since 2023 on the Bitcoin chart. Every chart at each of these times looked horrendous until it didn't. So here's the chart in question, guys. As you can see, he doesn't have dates on the bottom here, but this is throughout the bull run. This is the daily chart on the Binance exchange. And as you guys can see, death cross occurs right where we're bottoming. Usually what happens is the narrative is very negative. Donald Trump destroyed crypto right down in here before we made new all-time highs. Before that, we were up 90%. Bitcoin will dump to $30,000. Remember everybody that was calling that from the rooftops. The bull market is canceled. We were going much lower. That was early on. And then we made another move up 161%. He says everyone gets panicked when markets dump because our monkey minds are looking for patterns to continue. Short-term down says it has to go lower. We look for reasons that reinforce it. So we never buy when the herd is panicking. Then the market rallies strongly. Our monkey minds say we can never go down. It must only go up. And this is exactly what happens with, with retail traders. We get caught up in the moment and, it's sometimes hard to see what the reality is. All this to say the underlying market is driven by liquidity. When cash is available, market makers rally prices higher to cause euphoria and FOMO. Earlier buyers use this to take profits. When liquidity is projected to return to the market, market makers will drive prices lower and use news stories to cover their tracks. This creates maximum fear and panic, providing best prices for whales, smart money to load up. Once they have done so, market stabilizes. Because market makers then stop selling, they start buying, and the price begins to move higher. And so, guys, this is classic manipulation 101. It could be that the market does move higher. I mean, in the previous cycle, again, when Bitcoin price crossed the death cross, it was in and around here, March, April 2025. Look what happened. We double topped up here. We came down and formed a double bottom pattern. Then we came back up, retested the highs, and then made brand new highs. Here, guys, double top, coming back down. Now, the question is, are we going to double bottom here, retest and make new highs? And how long is that going to take? For more information on where I see this market going, guys, you know where to follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. We've got Bitcoin down to $96,000 per coin. And I'm not going to round trip my crypto. I'm going to be making sure that I cash out for, as much profit as I can. So if you guys are interested, it is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. So what do we have today? Bitcoin right now trading in and around $96,000. You guys can see that in there. And I'm just going to zoom out here because the trend has been looking quite interesting here. We did go down as low as, I want to say this is the lowest point we went down recently. And that is in and around 95,589. Go figure. What's the trend looking like from here? I mean, under $100,000, a lot of crypto traders have been now calling for the rooftops, a bear market. We are down to 22 in fear and greed. Market cap is down, 3 and a quarter, just shy of a quarter percentage point, down 6.64% total on the day. And market is in the red. A lot of altcoins are bleeding. At the moment, Bitcoin is the one that is obviously creating that fear. And Bitcoin is playing the most dangerous game I have seen, says Whale Guru. Okay, it keeps kissing $100,000. Well, now it is firmly below that. But the drop to 98,000 a few days ago said everything. This is a shakeout, pure manipulation. He says they want fear, they want liquidations, they want weak hands gone. And this is exactly what's happening. $100,000 is the battlefield. If Bitcoin slips again to $98,000, traders will panic and call it a breakdown. That reaction is the goal. A move to 90,000 and then 95,000 is possible. Short term, it will look bad, but in the next 10 to 30 days, it will become bullish fuel. So another positive outlook here. So here's the likely path. We dip, retail freaks out, people sell, everyone screams bear market, then the whales step in, institutions buy everything, deep pockets load up, and Bitcoin reverses hard. That is a very, very optimistic view here. Again, I don't know how many of you guys follow the blockchain backer. I caught his video yesterday. He's a really good guy. He was still giving bulls hope in that he was saying, if we breach this level, which now we have breached, well, there is a case for us to come back down and around here, albeit not a strong one. That's where our hope will lie. Hopefully, we do see some more activity come out of this that is positive. Now, Eric Trump is saying more money will come out of gold and flow into Bitcoin. Remember, gold is also trying to reclaim its top in here. If If I throw a Fibonacci on the gold chart, you guys can see we just reached the 0.702. What's that looking like for gold? Are people going to offload their positions?
And I think you're going to have this major shift to Bitcoin as truly the digital gold. I mean, I think you're seeing more and more money that will ultimately come out of gold, and you're going to see that ratio disproportionately shift into Bitcoin because it's been the single greatest asset that we've seen, and it solves a lot of the problems that physical gold has, including weight and transferability and so many other things, right? The ability to monetize, speed of monetization, and so again, you're going to see crypto literally change every aspect of our financial system, and it couldn't come quickly enough. I think we're wholly behind.
So it's going to change our financial system. Hopefully we can get back on top of it. Now, Credible Crypto posting this. He says, I've stated many times the biggest alt season is expected to happen post-Bitcoin top, not before. So I'm going to open up his chart here and continue reading his tweet. And the question is, guys, have we seen the top? My chart below is a response to that. He says, let's take a look. In 2017, after the last cycle ended, Bitcoin topped at the green dotted line. Okay, and that was December the 17th. You guys can see that in there. After this point, following a 50% drop on Bitcoin post BTC top, we had a massive altcoin rally. So this is the classic rotation thesis where money comes out of Bitcoin and then flows into altcoins. That sent altcoins up to $170 billion the day Bitcoin hit $10,000, nearly $500 billion or nearly 3x off the lows. The major alt season of 2017 that everyone so fondly remembers didn't actually begin until after Bitcoin had topped and corrected 50% off the high. So hypothetically, even if Bitcoin has topped and $74,000 is breached, playing devil's advocate here, I don't expect this to happen. He says, no, I'm not selling my alts, and yes, we will still see the greatest alt season of the decade. So just going back to the Bitcoin chart in here, he's saying if we do get back down to 74,000, which would in fact bring us back down to these levels down and around here, guys, Bitcoin would have lost roughly 41% of its value. And then what he's expecting is that the alt season would rally from there. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I endorse this. I mean, altcoin season, for all intents and purposes, is not the same as it used to be. A lot of these altcoins, think about it, guys. Think of how many altcoins there are in the space today. Where does it say it now? Okay, they've changed this around, but there's millions now of altcoins that currently exist. Oh, I think it's down. Yeah, you guys can see it down there. 27.08 million altcoins exist on 893 exchanges. Back in 2017, that number was far, far fewer than that. I don't even think it was in the millions. And so this idea that, we will see that rotation, that heavy rotation that'll bring alts up. Again, I'm a little skeptical of that perspective. I do think, some of the major altcoins like XRP, of course, some of the other big ones, the biggies, they will do well. And Mike Novogratz gives his opinion here on XRP turning into money. Now, guys, XRP turning into money. So these are the altcoins we have to focus on. I mean, luckily for you and I, we are invested in XRP. That is the lion's share of my crypto portfolio. But here's what Mike Novogratz has to say.
How do you turn something from being a token into money? It's a really, really complicated and difficult. So far, we've had a few that have done it. XRP has done it. And that surprised everybody, right? Because
did it surprise you?
It did. And listen, we're a big owner of XRP, the company, but the token, because I had all the same reasons everyone else. It was less decentralized. It was not a true blockchain. You can all the criticisms at XRP. It missed something important. They built a fierce community of people that believed in their narrative and turned it into money.
And that's just that. I mean, the XRP community has remained strong over all these years. I mean, we've been through a lot. And I got to say, considering Bitcoin is dropping like a stone, XRP price is still holding up. I mean, it is a little bit lower than where it was before, $2.26 as of the time of this recording. We've got a lot of work to do to get back up above this support level. Is it doable? Well, guys, the Canary Capital ETF was just launched yesterday, and the CEO, Stephen McClure, confirms that the Canary HBAR ETF has just been tokenized on Archax. So what does this mean? I mean, not so much for US traders, but guys, think globally. Think of the population, think of the liquidity, think of the volume that's going to move in to more cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds, and think of the fact that these are all altcoins, right? We're not talking about Bitcoin anymore. This is the altcoin market, and and this could have a big effect on price.
I can't remember who mentioned this, if it was Larry Fink or someone else, but the folks are looking to tokenize ETFs. What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting because here in the US, I think ETFs trade at decent hours. Where I think tokenization might work, though, for ETFs is globally. So, for instance, Archex out of the UK has tokenized a few crypto ETFs, including HBAR. And what that does, it allows people in Europe to trade these without having to go through their local exchanges. So that's actually really important from a global standpoint. I don't know if it's that, in the US, we tend to think in US terms. It's like, okay, well, how's that useful? Well, for other people, it's very useful that can't, that don't want to be at the up and, New York hours trading.
So there's maybe a beacon of hope there for altcoin prices, hopefully going to move up alongside these ETFs. Now, Chris Larson did also share his thoughts on what the future of money is. I'm kind of expanding out here. All in crypto posting is this ties back to XRP and other cryptocurrencies that are going to play an influential role in the financial system moving forward. Guys, again, more demand for these cryptocurrencies means higher prices.
What's the future of money? I think the future of money, I think it looks a lot like it does today. Fiat currencies still are the main instruments that people throughout the world use. But I think you'll see the addition now of maybe 10 of the major cryptocurrencies being part of that kind of second tier of currencies. The big ones still being the yen, the RMB, the dollar, the euro. But kind of these cryptocurrencies looking somewhat like Singapore dollar, Thai baht, Swiss franc, and it will be part of kind of our global ecosystem. They'll be unique because they'll have no counterparty and they'll help commerce to sort of lubricate the wheels of commerce. But they're not going to replace the dollar. They don't have to. They'll still be incredibly important. They'll just be part of an existing system.
So he's saying here, many of these cryptocurrencies are going to play an influential role in the financial system. Of course, Chris Larson is one of the founders of Ripple. So when we think about money, when we think about the new financial system, obviously, our mind always goes back to XRP playing that influential role. And so, when you're so zoomed in, it's hard to see the bigger picture. To be honest, says Hasib, this is the easiest bear market I have ever seen. Seems like most of you have forgotten what 2022 felt like. Do you guys remember? Were you guys even here during 2022? And in that bear market, we had negative news narratives left, right, and center. So Luna was collapsing, the 3AC, then FTX, then Genesis, BlockFi, Axie, NTFs, pretty much everything felt like a house of cards. And then after that, stuff collapsed and actual banks collapsed. Stablecoins depegged. Gary Gensler and the president tried to destroy almost every company in the industry. I really wasn't sure how much of this stuff was going to survive. And so compare that to now, this is breezy. Prices have gone down, whatever, but fundamentals are still great. So again, prices have gone down. I know we like to focus a lot on price, and price is important. Bitcoin currently still trading in and around 95,500, give or take. Is this going to continue to move down because we don't have those negative news narratives yet? It's interesting because now the government has reopened. This coming from Raoul Pal. Expect a few days for TGA spending to begin to significantly add to the liquidity and should persist for several months. Okay, then we have the beginning of December where quantitative tightening ends and the balance sheet will crawl higher. We should begin to see the dollar weaken again. The next key step is to avoid the year-end funding squeeze. Expect several temporary measures to add liquidity. Term funding and SRF operations are most likely. That will eventually morph into the desperately needed changes to the SLR to allow banks to absorb more issuance and re-leverage their balance sheets. This is a big liquidity bazooka expected in Q1. So SLR should lower rates as banks buy more bonds. Also expect the Clarity Act for crypto to begin to get finalized. There will be also stimulus payments, right? The big, beautiful bill fiscal goosing. China will continue balance sheet expansion. Europe will add fiscal stimulus or extra spending. The debts must be rolled, and the government wants to superheat the economy into the midterms. This is the liquidity flood. The spice must flow. So that is coming from Raoul Pal. All these bullish factors hopefully setting up the next phase of this crypto bull run. If in fact you do believe that that is the case, who's de-risking, who's deleveraging? If you guys want to see what I'm doing, follow me, patreon.com/workingmoney channel for all my up-to-date moves, where I'm going to be selling out of my XRP, my Bitcoin, all that fun stuff. And you guys can pick my brain. I do respond to all my DMs as well, to every single Patreon subscriber. It is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. Check it out too. I've also got the Working Money Channel merch store up. And for anybody who's interested in purchasing some Working Money Channel merch, you can find the link in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.